Hi, this is Insia from See Ins Go. I've so far lost 54 pounds on Zepbound, and I'm hoping to lose another 70 more. I wanted to share something very important for you to know if you're considering starting your Zepbound journey, or if you're in the very early phases of it yourself. Even if you're just about to talk to your doctor about your options because you're completely fed up trying without it and you've heard such great things. I wanted to just go over something very important to understand with the mindset, and that is you have to take it one step at a time. So you've been hearing about this miracle drug, you've been hearing all these people losing all kinds of weight. Your neighbor across the street has lost 100 pounds. Your coworker has already lost 20 and she just started last month. It is very, very easy to get caught up and feel like as soon as you start this drug, you're going to see everything that other people are experiencing. So just a few things, like you have to really recognize that everyone has a very different experience and process while they are taking this weight loss medication. It's something that, there's some people out there that just cannot tolerate it at all. So that's really unfortunate that they aren't able to take advantage of this, but it is the reality of it. So if you fall under that category, just know to work with your doctor to come up with alternative options. And then the other thing for you to be mindful of is that we all lose weight at different paces, and we always have. It also is important to know, where are you at in your health journey when you're incorporating Zepbound? Now, have you already been meal prepping and working with a nutritionist? Have you been going to therapy for any food related trauma that you need to still work through? If you are in the group of people that have 100 pounds or more to lose, like I am, there's probably something there that needs to be figured out before you can really find success in this journey, especially if you're looking for long-term success and you're sick and tired of just this yo-yo dieting lifestyle. So, it's really easy to feel the excitement and get caught up about this miracle drug. We've been hearing about it from celebrities for years now, and now it's finally accessible to some of us that, you know, never thought something like this would be available aside from going the route of weight loss surgery. So, you know, be mindful that, like, when you wake up the morning after your first dose, you're not gonna magically have a master's in nutrition or a master's in, exercise physiology. No, you're gonna wake up as the same person you were the night before. The difference is you're gonna have more control of your options. It's an aspect of like clarity of mind. You're able to finally experience something that others who don't deal with such levels of obesity through such a significant period of their life. If you were prescribed Zepbound or Wegovy, it's because a healthcare provider has recognized that you have been dealing with chronic obesity that needs a solution where other options were not successful. It means that you've tried other things before and it hasn't worked, and you have a significant amount of weight to lose. So if you already have those things as a part of your lifestyle, as a part of a problem that you're trying to solve, it's likely there's a lot that needs to be figured out. So, I think that was the hardest thing for me. Also, on my past programs and process, so I've always just been like, oh, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I'm going to eat perfectly, I'm gonna exercise for an hour, and I'm gonna continue this for the rest of my life. Now, that there's probably some people who can do that, and they are something to study. But for the rest of us, like, it doesn't just work like that. We need to learn these skills, we need to build these habits and become who we want to be to live that healthy lifestyle. So I say that to you because before I even started Zepbound, I took 3 months, as I've talked about in my other video, to relearn these skills. So it took a long time. You know, my registered dietitian, she recommended I pick like one food group and just tackle that. Well, first she said overall, just make sure you had protein and you didn't go above a carb amount through your meals through the day. I didn't even the idea of incorporating physical activity was a no. Like, I wasn't even ready for the conversation of how I would fit that into my life. I could barely get myself to figure out how to get protein in every meal and make sure that I didn't make bad choices. Again, this is before I started Zepbound, right? So all that food noise and all that work in my effort was there. So I started with working on my breakfast. Then my next goal was lunch. Then my last thing that I focused on was dinner. And what I want to share with you with that is if you've already started your Zepbound journey or your any kind of GLP-1 drug journey and you are feeling like you need to have everything already figured out, no, you don't. But you do need to work towards figuring it out. Like, that's something you can't just like coast on these medications. Yes, you're gonna get the, you know, my goodness, such. Yes, you're gonna get the benefit of the hunger suppression. You're gonna get the slower emptying of your food that you're digesting through your digestive system. So you're gonna feel full longer, and so whatever you eat, you're gonna be able to eat less of it, which is amazing, which is life-changing in itself. Oh my goodness, I didn't need to eat this whole plate of pasta, like, wonderful. But the difference is, if we are taking this journey, let's take it right. You know, let's actually create a lifestyle for us that makes sense, that the weight loss matches the type of person we want to be. So it means adding those veggies into our meals. It means skipping on maybe that very fatty fried food. And it is hard. It is hard to start changing your life so much at once. But the medication makes it easier. So let's use it. Let's use it to our advantage to start eating things that maybe we wouldn't have because we were so fixated on it and our mind could not stop thinking about it. So, and then in terms of like my personal experience with incorporating exercise, that's still new because I wanted to make sure I felt comfortable with my nutrition plan before I tried to incorporate physical activity. I have two very young kids. I work full time and I've got plenty of adult responsibilities, as I'm sure plenty of you do as well. I didn't know how to make it work. I just felt like I was already spending all my free time figuring out what healthy meals to make, when to make them, what to put on the grocery list, when to buy them, and how I could use all the things I bought before they expired. So there was a lot of energy already being invested into that, so I had to make sure that I got everything under control. And then in the last month, I've started targeting this effort of incorporating exercise. And that whole like take it one step at a time mentality has worked for me because the high energy and effort that's involved in creating a new habit, I got to prioritize nutrition. Now, some of that kind of works. It's like there's a system in place. I have a system in place that I use. I know the recipes that I like. It's not like I'm trying to fully recreate everything. Like, I know I have figured out what works for me. And while I'm still like tweaking and getting new recipes and trying to diversify like some of my options, it's in good shape. It's in good shape. Everything can always improve and be tweaked. Like I'm starting to work on how to incorporate fiber in the best way possible. But the main part is situated. So now let's do exercise. Okay, so create a system where I'm getting out there every day. I either do some kind of workout. I never set a time for myself because I did not know what I could physically do. I didn't really start this until I had lost 50 pounds already. Prior to that, I was really struggling to move around. I also, right after I had my second child, was doing PT and OT for wrist problems, for back problems, I did pelvic floor therapy. There was a lot that I was dealing with due to my weight, but also being postpartum that I was still recovering from, and losing those 50 pounds helped me get to a place that I could feel more confident going out and walking. That sounds ridiculous, right? Like, what do you mean? Can't you just go out and walk? Probably most people can, but I could not try to take that on at the same time. So I'm 24 days into this process, and I have not stopped taking some time to do some intentional movement. Not every day is perfect, but I can tell you that prior to these 24 days, I maybe did incorporated physical activity into my life 1 to 2 days maximum in the past 5 years. So we've come a long way. We've come a long way, and it only has worked with this new mentality where I'm not trying to recreate myself all at once, but I'm trying to recognize who I am right now, who I want to be, and start making small steps towards that, small and reasonable steps towards that. You know, that way I can do that like atomic habit stacking mentality, and that's what I'm really working right now. I've read that book twice now. I'm planning on rereading it for a third time in the past like year and a half of time. I just feel like there's so much value for all aspects of life to be able to take those methods and apply them. So if I could give you the best advice as you're starting this process, is to take it one step at a time. Do not let yourself get too overwhelmed. There's a lot. You're already trying to figure out how to administer the medication to yourself. When should you change the dosage? Is this the right choice for me? How do I manage my symptoms? But I will say that for me, since I started with nutrition as my primary target, I believe my symptoms were much better in control because I was able to make sure to avoid those fatty, fried, fast foods, and make sure I had protein at every meal. So I feel like I had a heads up on some of those difficulties that others have, where they're still eating their original diet, they're eating less of it, so they're still losing weight, but they're getting, you're likelier to see symptoms because you're still eating those foods that are very hard for your body to break down quickly. So something to keep in mind as you're deciding how to prioritize what you're tackling first to make your journey towards health. Now, you don't have to be on weight loss medication to take advantage of my advice, but I do know that people that are starting this process, like I was, it's just very intimidating and overwhelming. So I wanted to make sure I shared just that important nugget where this whole experience can be life-changing, but it takes time. And the best thing I can say to you is that I've been working very hard at this since October. Very, very hard at this since October. People did not notice in my life until maybe April, because it took time for there to be enough of a difference where the weight loss was obvious. And there's still some people that have no idea that there's any weight loss that I'm dealing with, because I'm still at the 50-pound mark, There's, for some, they may not see it till I'm at the 70-pound mark. So be easy on yourself. It does take time. There are plenty of influencers and celebrities that you'll see talking about how they've lost all this weight, but don't forget, it took time to get there. It took a lot of trial and error and just showing up for yourself even when it isn't working. Like 2 weeks ago, I got on the scale and I saw it go up, and I was so frustrated because I'm taking these medications. I'm paying a lot of money for these medications, and I did everything right in my mind for that week. So to see that was really frustrating, and I almost didn't want to go for my walk. I was like, what's the point? Again, my nutrition is in a good place, so that isn't where I was starting to slip. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to eat this pizza because what does it matter? Because I'm now enjoying the healthier foods that I'm making. But it was like, why am I going to put the stuff I'm still working out? Why would I bother working on that? And I pushed past it, and it was the right thing, because the following week I lost enough weight to make it, those last 2 weeks, balance itself out, to still be a great loss. So there will be ups and downs through this whole process. You will not get it right every time. There will be a lot of places where you might need to remind yourself that at the end of the day, you are still working to get to a healthier place instead of working against it. So keeping that mindset is likelier to get you the success you're looking for, especially if you don't want to be dependent on the medication for the rest of your life. Me personally, when people ask me if I plan to get off the medication, my answer is just, financially, I'm not sure how I can be on it for very long, unless my workplace starts including it in our insurance plan, or if Eli Lilly supports another round of coupons next year. I'm really not sure how I'm going to make it work. So at this moment, I just know I plan to take it till I'm done with the supply I acquired by the end of this year using Eli Lilly's coupon. I hope I can continue taking it a lot longer, because I feel like a different person. Like, it's not just the losing weight, which has changed my life in millions of ways, but it's also that clarity of mind where I'm not just fixated on food in a negative, unhealthy way. And it's wild to me what kind of food I now enjoy. Like, I want to eat a salad that I've created because I know I have really delicious ingredients, and I know how it feels for my body once I do eat that. So did I ever think that would be me, in October of last year? No. I maybe ordered salad out once or twice. It really would have been just something that I was doing to not be embarrassed. It would never be something that I'd be like, oh, I want a salad. Or if I got a salad, I would have to be I'd ask my husband to split a very carb-heavy meal plus a salad. That was the best I managed prior to that. But now, I've recognized that my taste buds have had a chance to really get constant exposure to these healthier options, these fresh vegetables, these cooked vegetables, along with the protein and flavoring that I use for it, that I'm now craving the salads that I make. And I've also started to get to the point that I'm now feeling strange if I'm not going for my workout. So, there's hope for all of us. If I can be doing these things, there's hope for anybody, because honestly, when it comes to laziness and lack of interest, or feeling like I knew everything about my nutrition already, that was me. Clearly I didn't get to 300 pounds knowing everything I needed to know about nutrition and figuring everything out when it comes to exercise. I got to it with many, many bad decisions along the way. And some difficult decisions along the way. But either way, the only way back from it is to work just as hard to get healthy and get fit and be able to run around with my boys. So I hope I was able to share something that was informative for you guys. Please feel free to comment, subscribe if you will, to follow along on some future content I hope to share. It is not an easy journey, and some of us don't have a lot of people in our life that are on it as well. So I am looking to create that community with others where we can discuss how our lives are completely changing as we're walking this walk. So let me know if you'd like to connect and be friends and support each other on this journey, because I know for me I have a long road ahead. Whether it's going to take me another year or two or 10, I'm not sure. But losing those first 54 pounds has given me that hope that I'm going to get there. I just need to keep taking one step at a time. And I hope you do as well. Until next time.